Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bridging Impact Podcast, the podcast that is passing wisdom to the next generation of athletes, coaches, and parents to transform leaders on and off the court. And in today's episode, it is a feature Coach's Corner where I, Coach Furtado, I share what I'm learning as a coach and also what I'm hearing from athletes, what I'm hearing from parents, and what I'm hearing from coaches as well. And so here in Los Angeles, we got in a couple weeks, it will be summertime for all elementary through high school kids, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to talk about how do we maximize the summer for athletes, right? And I'm just going to be upfront. It's really all about age and stage. So what do I mean by age and stage, right? So I'm just going to break it up really simply into elementary, middle, and high school. And realistically, there are probably a couple of categories, like a couple of stages in each age group. But we'll start with the elementary side of things. And I'm probably going to be pretty brief on this because it doesn't, at this stage, right, of their lives, it should be fun, right? I work with, 10-year-olds right now on a club team, and it's very hard for them, right? They don't have the social emotional skills to take things and super seriously, quote unquote, right? And that's fine, right? That's good that they're not at the stage where they really want to. There are certain kids, right? I have one kid in particular who, would rather go shoot hoops in his backyard and train than go to Hawaii, right? There are a select few kids, and if your kid really wants it and he's really hungry and he's 7, right, by all means, like, let them kind of dictate and guide, but do not put pressure on this elementary age group. So that means just going to camps, right? You can be going to, different sports camps. They should go to multiple sports camps, to be honest. Soccer camp, basketball camp, baseball camp, maybe 4th, 5th grade if you want to start, tailoring to 1 or 2 sports. Like I can kind of understand and get behind that, but actually they will become better athletes if they can play 3 or 4 sports at that elementary age. So that's really important, getting in other science camps, history camps, whatever the other camps are, just like fun day camps, right? At that age, right? It's just really about play, experimentation, and keeping the love for the game. So I'm going to kind of breeze over that real quick. Again, if your kid is more advanced and loves it, right? Truly loves it. And, then by all means, take them to as many camps for a certain sport as possible. Don't burn them out, right? Do not burn them out. Do not, focus on building the best 4th grader, right? In the nation. That's just, there's no point, right? Because you want to play the long game. Right. And I'll kind of dive into that a little bit more as we go along here. But in middle school, right? Middle school to me, right? The more I get into the education space, which is what I'm in, right? I'm working with kids. Yes, I think sports is education, right? That's where I feel like most of my life education has come from. And middle school is that transition time, transition from elementary to high school. And right, it's not like you're super mature in high school or super mature in middle school, but it's starting to transition you to becoming a young adult, and then obviously a young adult into becoming an adult once you become 18 and go off to college. So with that, right, I still believe there's some experimentation with middle school, but unfortunately with this landscape of youth sports and what it's like, it can be really challenging to do 3 or 4 sports in middle school, like just being point blank. Like, a lot of kids are very skilled right now, and unless your kid is a supreme athlete, which maybe they are, if they're a supreme athlete, they can probably get away with playing 3+ sports. But by this time in middle school, they probably, unfortunately, at this point in time, should narrow it down to around 2 sports, right? Taking it a little bit more seriously, but they don't really have to spend a ton of time training on their own, a ton of time, unless they're in 8th grade going into frosh or 7th grade going into 8th. And again, I think it comes down to this. It comes down to awareness of, at this point, right, what is the stage your kid is at? And, because some in middle school are maybe a little less socially, emotionally mature, and they may want to just have fun. And I would just encourage them to have fun, especially the 6th and the 7th grade, right? And then once you get to 8th, right, it's time to maybe think about getting more serious, especially here in Los Angeles. High school is really competitive. I'm about to get that section. But with that, it's imperative that it comes from them, right? We really want to start developing that internal drive within themselves versus, parent telling you have to do this, you have to do that. And so, if they want to train on their own, by all means, right, develop that, and talk about it, share stories about what it takes, right? If they really love it, I definitely encourage, training and going hard, but I still encourage at this stage for it to be fun, right? And for it to be like for the love of the game, right? Because they're still, their brains are still developing. And I can argue that for high schoolers too. I can argue that for some college students as well. But it's got to be fun, right? It can't be a job yet. But as we transition next into the high school section, right? This is where I'm living most of it. I'm running, elite high school training camps. And, if you're in the Los Angeles area, you want to join your kid, it's going to be the most impactful, training camp. There are other, good training camps. I don't want to, put that down, but we're going to work on leadership. We're going to work on basketball skills and how to make reads. We're going to do strength and conditioning all within 3 hours, 4 days a week, 3 camps in June, 2 camps in August. All right, I had to get that little promo in there. So I will include the details of that in the show notes if you are interested. So high school. High school is imperative it's the time to get serious, right? Like there's point blank, like, especially, I'm not sure where you're listening from, but here in Los Angeles, and I'm at a big public high school, we got a good quality basketball program, thinking specifically about Venice High School, you got to be training. And you got to be training with purpose and intention, because it's very competitive. It's highly competitive. Unless you're, again, a supreme elite level athlete, right? That margin for error is huge. And, it's really small, right? Because, I'm just being honest. We have, a varsity team with probably 16 to 20 quality players that could make the team, right? 16 to 20 guys generally don't make a basketball team. JV, similar thing, probably 20 plus that are capable of playing JV level basketball. And then Frocksoft, I honestly have no idea, right? It's always a wild card because you're getting 8th graders coming in. So with that being said, right, like as a high school, this is what your schedule needs to look like in the summer, right? You're going to have some vacations. You're going to hang out with some friends. I get that, but every day you need to be training 5 or 6 times a week, 5 or 6 times a week minimum, right? And every single day you need to be working on, you need to be in the weight room and or working on agility and getting in great shape and great condition. You need to be working on your basketball craft, your skills, shooting, playmaking, ball handling, defense. Defense probably can go into a lot of the conditioning, but and then also, playing and practicing those skills. So I would say a minimum of 3 hours a day, and then, maximum, right, 5-6 hours. You don't want to play too much, right, and overstrain your body, but that's the work. So I would say it's probably minimum 15 hours a week, right, if you really want to level up. And that's like your intentional training, right? And the great thing is there's a lot of great resources online for strength and conditioning specifically. You can Google Stack is a good one, right? Basketball training wise, it's great. Obviously, I would be happy to design, your kid, or if you're an athlete listening to this, design your summer workout, summer plan, especially for basketball. I'm a youth exercise fitness specialist as well. So if we see something fit there, I'd be happy. But it's a commitment, right? If you really want to get better this summer, it's the time. There is no better time. And I keep telling my athletes that it's the best time, right? You're not in school. You don't have summer school unless, you do, right? But you still, in general, have significantly more time. So how are we going to use that? You need to make sure you're in routine every single day. You do things at certain times of the day. You need to make sure that, to the best of your ability, you're eating a healthy diet, you're sleeping, and you're making good choices right off the court with who you're hanging out with, what you're doing. So, age and stage, summer is the time to develop, right? Summer is the time to develop, whether it's elementary and middle, right? You're developing your athletic skills and your love and joy for the game. And by the time you're in high school, if you're still playing, you need to develop your elite level play. If that's who you want to be, if you want to make teams, if you want to just play for fun, that's fine. Right? That's fine. Then, play at recreation leagues, play, just shoot around at home. But I really am in the business of helping people level up their game. And that's the level it takes to get to the next level, right? I didn't make the team my junior year. I worked out at minimum 4 hours a day. I made my varsity team my senior year. I was in the best shape because I trained and worked for it. And I still didn't even get playtime on my team. So like that's what I'm saying. It's not going to guarantee you a spot, but I see a couple of the kids that I've been training and working with the past couple of months, and I can see who's been putting in work and who's been putting in a little work and who is still the same. Like it's just honest, right? And that's how it is. And teaching those life skills, I would say honestly, most of the kids that I'm working with genuinely have gotten significantly better, which, it's great. I had a kid come up to me yesterday, Coach, what you taught me about shooting, man, I'm getting in that rhythm. I'm getting that shot up. Wait, it's improved a lot. So it's a rewarding thing, and I love teaching. I love coaching, and I appreciate you all for giving this episode a listen. If you got something out of it, right? Whether you're a parent, you're a coach, you're an athlete, reach out to me, connect with me. I want to collaborate as much as I can. I'm in the business of helping as many people, making an impact on as many people as I can, because sports is a vehicle for teaching life, and that's the vehicle that I am choosing right now, and I am grateful for it every single day. So share this with a friend and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I will be in your eyes and ears next week. We got a great interview for you next week, so it'll be a lot of fun with Coach Steve Hodge. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, have a great day, have a great weekend, great morning, whenever you're listening to this. Coach Furtado out.